Boxing from Caesar's Palace. We've got the Pentacontinental Super Bantamweight Championship on the line. The baby-faced assassin, undefeated Marco Antonio Barrera, and former WBA Bantamweight champ Fast Eddie Cook. They'll be coming your way next. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Sports Pavilion here at fabulous Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas, Nevada. And of course, our big main event coming along your way, Marco Antonio Barrera against Fast Eddie Cook. At 33-0, Marco Antonio Barrera is one of the most talented young fighters around, but to date, he's been unable to get a shot at one of the major titles and is having a difficult time understanding why. His name is Marco Antonio Barrera, and his style is a devastating combination of raw power and relentless ferocity that is truly impressive to witness. In the past year, he's brought his considerable talents to bear on 7 different opponents, and only one has gone the distance. His record now stands at 33-0 with 23 knockouts. Yet in spite of his successes in the ring, Barrera has been unable to get a shot at either a WBC or IBF title.
I believe they are backing me. The forum is backing me up. They offered Canizales the championship fight when he was champ. He didn't want to fight me. The Japanese fighter didn't want to fight me either. Now they're offering a fight against Alfred Cote. Hopefully he'll fight me.
With so much on the line, many fighters would steer clear of a dangerous opponent like the hard-punching, former WBA Bantamweight champion, Fast Eddie Cook, whom Barrera faces tonight. But the young super bantamweight is supremely confident of his own ability.
I know that Eddie Cook is strong. I know that he is well known in Los Angeles and in Vegas. But I think that I can beat him and that I can demonstrate why I'm ready for a title shot.
But Barrera, who's a former college student, admits that he's becoming increasingly frustrated. And he maintains he will leave boxing and resume his studies if the long-awaited title shot does not materialize within the next 6 months.
I don't want him to wait until I'm 27, 28 years old so I can fight for the title shot. I'm the kind of person that if I don't get my opportunity now, when I'm young, I wouldn't stay.
However, for now, this remarkably talented young fighter wants nothing more than a chance to prove that he has what it takes to be the best.
I just want to get the opportunity to fight for the title and then show everybody who Marco Antonio Barrera is.
And there he is, Marco Antonio Barrera, as he makes his way into the ring here at the Sports Pavilion at Caesar's Palace. Pentacontinental Super Bantamweight champion, went by one whole division. He'll weigh 122 pounds for this fight tonight. Fast Eddie Cook's at 121. Barrera 122, one of the most popular fighters in all of Mexico.
And Tom, there's a lot to this youngster. Very polite, well-mannered, very intelligent kid who is going to the university in Mexico. He plans to be an attorney. In fact, when we talked to him yesterday, he said he's only 6 months from entering law school. And, you know, that's why he kind of puts that 6 month to a year limit on his boxing career if he doesn't get a title shot. He says, that's the way it's going to be. Hey, I'm going into law.
In addition to his considerable boxing talent, why, he also has the benefit of belonging to a family that is financially quite secure. He really doesn't need boxing to make a living.
No, his dad constructs or builds stages for television.
There's Fast Eddie Cook, WBA former bantamweight champion, who says, I'm bigger, stronger, and can hit harder than anybody this guy Barrera's been in with.
And look who's right behind him in the green jacket working in his corner. Vince Phillips, who just fought Shabata Flores.
I don't know. I thought Fernando had left us to put something down on number 4 on the roulette wheel.
Right.
Because number 4 has been the critical number tonight. Jimmy Lennon Jr. has the announcement for the 2 fighters. Let's go to Jimmy.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our co-featured main event of the evening, brought to you by Forum Boxing Incorporated and Caesar's Palace, along with Budweiser, the undisputed king of beers. This bout is sanctioned by the Pentacontinental Boxing Union, President Thomas Hogan, supervisor at ringside, George Yoshinaga. Along with the Nevada State Athletic Commission, the chairman, Dr. James Nave, commissioners, Nat Carasali, Dr. Elias Ghanem, Luther Mack, and Crispin Rivera. The executive director is Mark Ratner. Introducing to you the judges scoring this bout from ringside, Dave Moretti, Al Siciliano, and Lou Tabat. And introducing to you the referee in charge, Carlos Padilla. All right, fans, here we go with the co-main event of the evening, the Pentacontinental Super Bantamweight Championship, scheduled for 12 rounds of boxing. Introducing to you first the challenger on my right, fighting out of the red corner. He enters the ring wearing white trunks with blue and red trim and fighting out of St. Louis, Missouri. He weighed in at a ready and even 120 pounds with a record of 19 wins, 2 losses. He has 16 wins coming by way of knockout. He is currently the Penta number 5 ranked contender. Please welcome the former WBA Bantamweight Champion of the world, Fast Eddie Cook. And his opponent across the ring, the defending champion in this bout on my left, fighting out of the blue corner. He enters the ring wearing white trunks with green and red trim, hailing from Mexico City, La Ciudad de Mexico. His weight, 122 pounds. His outstanding record is an unblemished 33 wins, no losses, 23 wins coming by way of knockout. He is currently the WBC number 3 ranked bantamweight contender in the world. Tonight, making his first defense of his Pentacontinental Super Bantamweight crown. Please welcome the fighter known as the baby-faced assassin, the undefeated Marco Antonio Barrera. Instructions, Carlos Padilla.
You were already given instructions earlier. Any question? Okay, let's go.
Short and to the point. We'll check the tail of the tape on these two. Cook is 27, Barrera 20. Barrera is 2.5 inches taller than Cook. He weighs 2 pounds more, and he's got 4 inches in the reach advantage. The rules for Pentacontinental, this title fight, 10-point must system to the winner. 3 knockdown rule is in effect. Standing 8 count is in effect. Can't be saved by the bell in any round, and only the referee can stop the fight. That'd be Carlos Padilla. And we're set to go. It is scheduled for 12. There's the bell, and out they come. Fast Eddie Cook. He's the southpaw. (19-2) with 16 knockouts against Marco Antonio Barrera, 33-0, and 23 knockouts.
Tom, I'm expecting fireworks in this fight. This could turn into a real slugfest. Fast Eddie Cook said, Marco Antonio won't have to look for me. I'll be right there in his face.
Barrera is very calm, cool, and collected. Even in press conferences, he seldom talks above a very low, soft monotone. I guess he'd rather let his hands do the talking for him in the ring, eh, Fernando?
Yeah, that's the way he's been since day one, and you know, you have mentioned that throughout his career.
Can you tell me why he's not more of a public figure, or is he a public figure in Mexico?
He's an up-and-coming star, I think, because he hasn't had the big-name opponents like exactly like Eddie Cook.
Well, Cook insists, as long as we brought his name up, that he is the best fighter this kid's ever been in against, and he'll be out to prove that point tonight.
Cook's a former WBA Bantamweight champion of the world. He won the title back in 1992 in March as he knocked out Israel Contreras in 5 rounds, but he lost the title 7 months later on a decision to Jorge Julio Elisier. So he found himself a winner and a loser in the same year of the World Championship.
These guys are wasting little time. They're setting up and teeing off on one another. Antonio Barrera is taller by 2.5 inches. Cook, the southpaw.
One of the things that Cook showed in his previous fight was that
he got nailed with that good left hand, Fernando. Cook got nailed with the left hand.
It's a beautiful shot by Barrera, and Cook is in real difficulty.
Big trouble. Big trouble. Carlos Padilla, Cook was between the ropes and unable to fight, and Carlos Padilla stopped it for a second to allow him to get back in. Cook got nailed with a solid left hand.
I was saying that he was susceptible to the right hand, not so much the left hand, so he still has a good firepower. This is Barrera in his arsenal.
Keep in mind that Cook is very dangerous, though, even in trouble here. 13 of his 16 knockout wins have come in the first 2 rounds.
Lead right hand by Barrera, and Cook is in trouble again. Barrera is all over him. And they're going to have a count. Going to call it a knockdown, though Cook didn't go to the deck.
That's part of the standing 8 rule. See, that's the right I was talking about. He leaves himself wide open for that right. Barrera knew this.
There's the bell.
It's time for friends to fly free.
Round number 2 scheduled for 12. From the way Barrera started out, I don't know, but what this is going to be a short evening for him. In recent fights when we've seen him, he's had the tendency to kind of, it looks to us, loaf along a little bit. But tonight he's starting out like a man intent on business.
Well, he pretty much waits for that opportunity and then goes to work, but he didn't have to wait too long tonight.
Joining us at ringside, super middleweight champion Roy Jones Jr., who had a magnificent display of power and speed as he dispatched James Lights Out Tony in what was billed as one of the really great fights of the decade. It didn't turn out that way, not because the 2 men didn't try, but Jones just had too much for Lights Out. The champion's with us. Congratulations. What a great performance.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here with you tonight.
Roy, you couldn't possibly have thought it would be as easy as it turned out to be for you.
Well, actually, I didn't think it would be too hard. I just thought in later rounds maybe he'd try to come on with a little surge of some kind, but it never happened. So it did turn out pretty easy. And I thought it was going to be somewhat like that, but I thought later on he would bring on something to the table for me to really deal with. And I was ready for that, but it never happened.
Moving up to 168 was no problem for you. Would you fight there now at that with the title?
Yeah, I'll do that for a little while. I may go back down to 60 for 1 or 2 fights too, though, because I still feel like I can make the middleweight division pretty comfortably. But in the near future, I also could be going up to the light heavyweight division too, so anything from 160 to 175 could be me.
Shades of Sugar Ray, both of them. You're going to hold a half a dozen titles or so, Roy?
I don't really care about holding half a dozen titles, so it's just that I like boxing, I like competition, and I'll go where the competition is.
Well, I think that Roy Jones Jr. is the closest thing to Sugar Ray, and I mean the real Sugar Ray Robinson, since we've seen since he retired.
Well, thank you very much, and I think that's a very great compliment because Sugar Ray Robinson was, to me, one of the better fighters of all time. Believe it or not, though, my most favorite fighter that I ever got a chance to visually view while he was alive was Salvador Sanchez.
He fought here.
Certainly did. He beat Danny Little Red Lopez right in this very ring in this building.
That's right. Won the title doing it. Well, he won the title from him, then defeated him again.
Right. And when I was a kid, I thought, I mean, that's who I basically tried to pattern some of my moves after because he never changed his expressions. He always came prepared to fight, and he always was Salvador Sanchez, no matter who he fought.
Fast Eddie Jones, Eddie Cook having a little better time of it here in this second round, although Barrera continues the pressure as round 2 is coming to a close. Scheduled for 12. We'll be back. This is round number 3, scheduled for 12. You're watching Fast Eddie Cook. He's in the white trimmed in red and blue. In the multicolored white, red, and green trunks, Marco Antonio Barrera. They're in here at the super bantamweight limit of 122 pounds. It's round number 3, and they're scheduled for 12. Joining us at ringside also is Roy Jones Jr., super middleweight champion of the world. A resounding victory, an electrifying one. Great hand and foot speed in his victory over James Lights Out Tony. He's undefeated, and his future very much in front of him.
Tom, Barrera looks as though he's trying to set Eddie Cook up for another big shot here. And Eddie who was a guy who was always aggressive and always in your face. Said yesterday when we talked to him, he can adjust a little more in the ring, and he's showing a little more style now in this round in an attempt to be more of a boxer.
Well, after that first round, in fact, I thought he might be in danger of going down, maybe even out in that first round. As Barrera pretty much had his way with him, I thought Cook put on a pretty good show in round number 2. Fought pretty well.
Cook had to be very careful because Barrera is a very good puncher, very strong puncher, and if he doesn't watch himself, he will find himself in a situation he doesn't want to be in, like right there. A good body shot by Cook.
Eddie says he's the toughest fighter and the biggest hitter this kid's ever faced, boy.
Now, that could be true, but this kid is no slouch. He's a 33-0 record, and that's very difficult, even fighting against guys who are not supposed to be so good. So anytime you see a guy with a record like that, you know he's bringing something to the table.
Keep in mind that this is only Cook's second fight in the last 2 years. And the fight that he had was just a month ago, and he was pressed in that fight. He had to work hard to get a 10-round decision against Juan Mendoza at the Forum.
Well, he'll be pressed in this fight, too, and he'll be very lucky to come out here with a decision without getting stopped, because this guy's throwing this shot by Cook.
He landed a pretty good right. He caught a left hand just before that. Lands a good left of his own on Barrera's jaw.
He's got the power, Cook, to turn it around.
Yeah, but Barrera will never let up, and you see his expression never changes. He has strong concentration, and he's into just making Cook work until he gets where he wants him. Then he's going to try to close in on Cook.
Yeah, he's very poised. You know, Roy, and that brings me to mind of your fight with Tony. I was surprised, really, during that fight that you didn't take the opportunity. You were winning so easily, the way things were going very much your way, that you kept your mind in business and you kept your work ethic all the way through. You didn't hot dog and showboat during the fight, really. I mean, you just basically went out there and attended to business.
Right, and that's because, you know, when a guy talks about beating me, that makes me very, very interested in going in and seeing what it is he has planned for me. So I went in to be all business and to win that fight, not to go in and play around much.
So this round coming to a close. We'll be back with more Barrera and Fast Eddie right after this.
Right now.
Back here at Caesars Palace, the Sports Pavilion. Out they come for round number 4. Fast Eddie Cook in the white, red, and blue. In the white, red, and green trunks, the baby-faced assassin, the undefeated Marco Antonio Barrera.
Eddie Cook looked a lot better at the end of the last round. He landed a couple good combinations, and it looks like it may be a little bit more promising for him. But he still has to be very careful.
Indeed he does. Barrera has knocked out 23 guys while winning 33 without a loss.
Another guy you're quite familiar with, Vince Phillips, took care of business in our previous bout.
Right, Vince looked very good to being laid off for so long. I think he's been off for about a year now. And coming out, good shot.
Nice exchange. Cook landing a pretty good shot to the body, and he just did miss hitting Barrera on the point of the chin.
I think he still jolted him, though. I think that's probably one of the harder punches Barrera's taken in his career.
You never know by Barrera's facial outlook. He just never smiles, blinks, shows any concern. He's stoic. Oh, big right hand by Cook.
Good shot by Cook. And Cook is coming on point now. He's looking a lot better. Just as long as he doesn't get too careless.
Well, he's backing Barrera up for the first time in this fight, gentlemen.
That's very good.
That's why you can't underestimate power. The odds makers didn't like Cook's chances 4-1, and in that first round, he looked like just that big an underdog, but he's making a statement here in round 4.
Minute 30 remaining in this, the 4th round. The other voice you're hearing, in addition to Rich Murata and Fernando Paramo, is Roy Jones Jr., the super middleweight champion. One of boxing's great fighters and great champions.
And thank you.
Just going to sit around and rest over the holidays, Roy, and take it easy?
Yeah, I just sit back, play a little basketball, kind of take it easy. View my fight, look for mistakes, look for something to get back in the gym and work on, and I'll be back in action.
But nothing scheduled definitely for you yet, huh?
Not yet.
Roy, are you going to maintain this fiercely independent role that you've had as far as not aligning with a promoter necessarily to continue to promote you one way or the other?
Probably so. I may align with a TV network such as HBO or Showtime or something like that, but I think I'm going to pretty much work independently as a promoter.
I think boxing fans hope that you and your father get back together again, Roy.
We're pretty much together now. It's just that the boxing part, it's very hard to do business with your family. Anybody who knows boxing knows that, oh, Cook just took a bad shot.
Yep. And he's trying to tie Barrera up.
And did.
Round 4 has been a pretty good one so far for Cook, and all of a sudden he finds himself in trouble as the round is coming to a close. Round number 5, it's scheduled for 12. Fast Eddie Cook in the white, trimmed in red and blue. Had a pretty good 5th round, but Marco Antonio Barrera seemed to catch him right at the end of round number 4, as they're out here now for round number 5.
Cook here is showing a very strong heart, strong will, and strong sense of determination because he's been hurt bad in this fight. His eyes are starting to swell, one of them with a little blue spot up under, and he's still going like there's nothing wrong with him. So I have to give a guy a lot of credit for fighting a fight like this.
Boy, they are teeing off on one another now, Barrera and Cook.
Now, that's a slugfest we expected, and a behind-the-back punch by Eddie Cook.
Nice. I like to see stuff like that. He was being creative, you know.
He's been creative.
Hey, Roy, you could add that one to your arsenal. I don't think Carlos Padilla saw that one.
But this kid's throwing some strong, tight punches, and he's always dangerous during the fight. So
2 minutes remaining in round number 5. Barrera has Cook against the ropes, backing him up.
Oh, that hurt.
Sticks him with that left hand down in the liver.
And it seems that Barrera will accept to take punches just so that he can also let his.
He's smart. He makes Cook work. Then when Cook tries to take off, he works Cook. And he's beating Cook's body right now. It's really taking a toll on Cook. But like I said, Cook shows the heart of a lion. He stays right there and he goes to war. And I just hope he's careful and not hurt by this guy, because this guy's throwing some good shots.
I think this is the first time really that Barrera's character and heart in there is being tested tonight, because he has eaten some hard shots from Eddie Cook as well.
But you can tell that Barrera is ready for this. Barrera coming into the fight probably knew not to take Cook lightly, but he came prepared for a battle. Actually, it looked like both fighters came prepared.
Cook hit him with a solid left, and Barrera never even flinched. Caught him flush, and he moved right in and threw punches in response. Barrera is tough to discourage.
Looks like a duplicate of Julio Cesar Chavez almost.
He's all over Cook now, backing Eddie up. And Cook trying to fight his way back. Boy, Cook is tough.
Man, he doesn't want courage, I'll tell you that.
He shows the champion's heart. He never gives up. That took a lot out of Barrera. That took a great deal out of Barrera.
He took at least 4 shots.
Yeah, Cook needs to go to his body a little right now. Cook will do good.
Cook coming on here in the close of round 5 after Barrera covered him with a barrage of punches.
Barrera's kind of tired now. Cook works his body. Cook has something here.
There's the bell. That's the end of round number 5. We've got a dandy going here. Our special thanks to a very special champion, Roy Jones Jr.
Thank you
the best to you. Have a great holiday season.
Thank you. I appreciate
continued success.
And you too.
All right, Roy, thanks a lot. Enjoy yourself on the way to the Hall of Fame.
All right, thank you.
Fight Night on KCAL is being brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, long-lasting trucks on the road. Well, you take a look at Fast Eddie Cook, and they've got the end swell trying to control some of the puffiness under both eyes. Results of a severe barrage of blows thrown by Marco Antonio Barrera. And I'll tell you, Cook, watch this behind the back punch.
That's shades of old Ray Windmill White. You remember
Really? Oh, yes, yeah.
The light heavyweight from Ventura, the carpenter from Ventura.
Out they come for round number 6.
Well, you know, I tell you, I was delighted with anticipation when I heard that foreign matchmaker Antonio Curtis had made this match, Tom, because it just figured to be a slugfest, and we got the war in that last round that we expected.
Neither man has been down. It looked for all the world like Cook would not come out of the first round. Barrera was on him very quickly, but Cook has While I don't think he's ahead on anybody's card, has certainly answered and responded to every onslaught Barrera has thrown at him, and they have been considerable. Fast Eddie, former WBA bantamweight champion. Marco Antonio Barrera, undefeated, 33-0. Cook says he's never been hit, Barrera that is, by a guy who hits as hard as I do. Well, a couple of times he has kind of stopped Barrera in his tracks. But Marco Antonio just keeps coming on.
I think towards the end of the round, it was just basically the work that he did at the beginning of the round. This is in the last round that I'm talking about.
Yes.
Fast Eddie Cook was born in St. Louis, but he's trained here in Las Vegas and lived here in Las Vegas. So naturally, he has the backing of a lot of fans. And there was a lot of noise in this Caesars Palace Pavilion when he staged that rally at the beginning of last round.
Nice solid jab by Barrera. Pretty quiet round for Barrera. Cook forcing whatever action there is.
Tom Barrera's having to answer some tough questions that every fighter sooner or later has to answer. You know, he's one, you know, he rarely loses a round in any fight we see him in. And he probably hasn't lost too many tonight, but nonetheless, he has tasted the leather and tasted the power of Eddie Cook.
And I don't think he liked it.
Barrera with Cook against the rope, pops that jab at him. Cook covering up, pushes him against the ropes. Wild left hand by Cook. Had good night written all over it. Barrera just watched it whistle by. Well, round 6 has quickly moved into the books. It's scheduled for 12 this fight, and we'll be back for round 7 right after this.
The work week.
Quick check of the scorecard. Rich Murata says he's got Barrera up by 3 points after 6 rounds. Fernando has him up by 2 after 6. We're looking at action in round number 7, Sports Pavilion, Caesars Palace. Fast Eddie Cook in the white, trimmed in red and blue, former bantamweight champion. The baby-faced assassin, Marco Antonio Barrera. Undefeated, 33-0. And the talk about Barrera deserves a title shot, but where would you put him? What division? Bantamweight, super bantam, what?
He claims he could make 118 at the bantamweight, but I don't remember the last time he did make 118.
He used to be the NABF super flyweight champion, and then that's when he started zooming up. He couldn't make that weight limit anymore.
When he woke up one morning and he was 118 or 20 pounds. Left hand scores for Eddie Cook.
I think I saw a little bit of hesitation on Barrera's part. He started going back, pulling back a little bit. And you would think that it would be Eddie Cook that would be tiring as time progressed.
You would think so. All of a sudden, Barrera swings into southpaw. Now he's back in the orthodox style. Nice body shots by Barrera. Cook comes back, answering with some shots of his own.
Did you see that little inside work, too?
Oh, yeah.
Eddie Cook grabbed the head of Barrera, pulled it down, and punched with the other hand.
Hit him a couple of uppercut shots, where Carlos Padilla could step in and break them in. Half a minute remaining here in round number 7, scheduled for 12.
Both fighters in great shape.
They seem to be, Fernando. As round 7 is coming to a close, we'll find out about conditioning. It's scheduled for 10. We'll be back. Taking a moment here, and now the bell brings him out for round number 8. Did I say 10? It's going to go 12 rounds, or is scheduled to. This is the 8th round. Cook got a standing 8 count in round number 1. It looked very much as though Barrera was going to dispatch him early. But since then, it has been a very, very tough fight for both men.
You know, if Cook loses this fight to Barrera, which may very well happen, he'll be the most shot guy in Las Vegas, I think. When we talked to him yesterday, have you ever heard a more confident kid? I mean, it didn't seem like phony bravado either.
He had all the confidence of a used car salesman, no question about it. Well, Fast Eddie's face certainly shows the effects of some solid shots that have landed. Compliments of Barrera. Eddie couldn't fool the panel on what's my line tomorrow, I can tell you that. Barrera, on the other hand, never changes expression. Barrera thought he got hit low, started to back up, got hit in the head, kind of a butt, and also thought he'd taken a low shot, backed up a little bit, and Cook was all over him.
Well, if I was Eddie Cook, that's just the way I do it. I'd try to rough this guy up, turn it into a street ball.
Did you see now? Did you see Barrera also waiting for him with a hit?
Yeah. A little trickle of blood coming from the nose of Barrera. Well, I think Eddie Cook has proved one thing, gentlemen. He is indeed as tough as anybody Marco Antonio Barrera has fought, and perhaps tougher than anybody else.
Yeah, clearly the best Barrera's been in with.
Cook backs him up. Has him against the ropes, throwing punches. Blood trickling slowly, bit by bit, from the nose of Barrera as Cook backs him up again. Solid combinations by Cook. Hooks to the body and bring it up to the jaw. A solid left hand by Cook. His best round, Rich Verrata, I think.
Yes, and Barrera was showing something else we always wondered about, a chin. He's got one.
Yep.
He's been hit some solid shots to the chin right in this round and hasn't.
Barrera's on him. Jumping all over him. Cook goes down, and I think they're going to stop it.
Unreal. What a rally by Barrera at his very worst moment in the fight.
He was having his toughest round when he nailed Cook with a right hand, and with that punch, why, he then opened up the floodgates, a flurry of punches against Cook, and the fight stopped, and Cook's unhappy about it. But I think, in point of fact, as we look back, you'll see that Cook was in a lot of trouble, and Barrera had hit him a half a dozen shots without answer.
I think, Tom, that Cook went down, perhaps voluntarily there, to try to escape and get a few seconds breather from that unbelievable assault and barrage landed by Marco Antonio Barrera.
Let's take another look at it. When it seemed as though Barrera was having trouble, bang, that right hand. And from that point on, Rich, look at that barrage of punches.
Hard shots, Tom, right on the chin. A little wild right there. Cook, though, couldn't do anything to tie up Barrera, and that was his problem as he went down to one knee, and referee Carlos Padilla stopped it at that point.
So the baby-faced assassin turns everything on, hitting Eddie Cook on time and stopping it in round number 8. That's his 34th without a loss. This guy's for real. We'll be back to Caesar's Palace right after this. Fight Night on KCAL is being brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, long-lasting trucks on the road. Welcome back to the Sports Pavilion here at fabulous Caesar's Palace. A great fight between Fast Eddie Cook and Marco Antonio Barrera ends in the 8th round as Cook was seemingly having his best moments. when suddenly he got nailed with a right hand by Barrera, who then just opened the floodgates and swarmed all over the former bantamweight champion and knocked him out here in round number 8. Jimmy Lennon Jr.'s got the official time. Jimmy, if you will.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time of 2 minutes 31 seconds in round number 8. The referee in charge, Carlos Padilla, stops the contest. The winner by way of technical knockout. He is still undefeated and still the Pentacontinental Super Bantamweight champion, Marco Antonio Barrera.
Well, he allows us a light smile as he turns and salutes the fans here at the Sports Pavilion at Caesars Palace. He's 34-0 and 24 knockouts, and he answered every question you might have had about him. We'll be back in a moment with more. Welcome back to the Sports Pavilion here at fabulous Caesars Palace in Las Vegas, Nevada, where Marco Antonio Barrera and Fast Eddie Cook put on a dandy bout in the bantamweight or super bantamweight division. In the 8th round, with 2:31 in the round, Marco Antonio Barrera made it 34-0 and 24 knockouts with a barrage of punches that Cook could not withstand. In the ring with him now, Fernando Paramo. Fernando, we'll go to you if you will, please.
Thank you very much. Marco Antonio, Eddie Cook said that he would be the toughest opponent today. Was he the toughest opponent today? Dijo Eddie Cook que iba a ser el rival más difícil. ¿Ha sido el más difícil de tu carrera?
No, yo creo que no. Sí es un rival fuerte, es un rival muy duro que aguanta demasiado. Pero pues no, el rival más duro de mi carrera está en México y pues a él le sigo guardando mis respetos.
He said that no, this was not his toughest opponent. This is an opponent that was tougher. It's still in Mexico, although he was fast and he was very strong. You seem to be having problems with them towards just before you finished the fight. Parecía que tenías problemas antes de acabarlo.
Pues lo que pasa es que era un rival que cuando me sentía tocado tiraba el abrazo. Entonces era cuando el referee intervenía y no me dejaba terminar lo mío hasta que pude agarrar mi distancia.
He said that he was having a problem because when Eddie Cook was hurt, he started either embracing him or throwing, not letting him do his fight. He says that until he was able to get the distance, go get his reach, and then go for the ending. We're going to take a look at some of the end of the fight. Vamos a ver un poquito sobre el final de la pelea. Cuéntanos lo que está pasando.
Pues lo que pasa es que lo vi tocado y dije, pues voy a descargar lo mío. Y pues así fue, se me tiraba el abrazo, pero pues yo no dejé que me abrazara.
He says that he was going for him. He said that he saw him hurt and he went for him. He said that Eddie Cook tried to grab on, but he wouldn't let him hold on. Vamos a verlo otra vez. We're going to see it again.
Lo sentí tocado y me tiré a fondo. No dejé que me abrazara para que el referee no la pueda parar la pelea. Y pues ahí se vio, ya terminó la pelea.
He says that he just went for him. He wouldn't let him embrace him. And he knew that the fight was about to end. And he just went all out for him. Okay, well, what happens now? You still don't have a chance or a title shot, do you? ¿No has tenido todavía no tienes la pelea?
No, es lo que estoy esperando. Ya tengo demasiado tiempo esperando esa pelea. Pero Ricardo Maldonado se encuentra en Puerto Rico y espero que me traiga buenas noticias.
Okay, well, he says that he's still not he's gotten the chance, although Ricardo Maldonado Jr. is in Puerto Rico and he's waiting for good news. Felicidades.
Muchas gracias y pues nuevamente le agradezco a Canal 9 de Los Ángeles porque me ha apoyado demasiado en mi carrera y a la prensa por escrito.
Says thank you. Thanks KCAL for giving him the chance to fight and also the written press for the opportunity to fight on TV. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Fernando. Our congratulations to the baby-faced assassin. He was devastating again tonight. And as a tribute to a worthy opponent, Marco Antonio Barrera embraces Fast Eddie Cook. We'll be back with more right after this.